Boom. Hello. I am back. How are you? It's great to still be here. We're going to listen into the UFC 214 conference call, and then we're going to answer your questions. This is what we like to call the MMA After Hour. This is when the freaks come out. Speaking of freaks, do we have the conference call ready?
And allow everyone else in the MMA community to start to move forward and heal from that the way me and my friends and my family and my teammates have moved forward from it already.
Because you have cleaned things up so much, John, and I know you made so many changes in your life, this is a big moment for you personally, but on the other side of the octagon, you got, one of your biggest rivals, of course, Daniel Cormier. He's never lost in the sport outside of the one fight with you. So how much of this is about you, getting back what you lost, getting back the title, and how much of it is about the rivalry, about this dislike you have for Daniel Cormier?
I mean, honestly, and I mean this with the bottom of my heart, this fight to me has nothing, it really has nothing to do with Daniel Cormier. It could be anybody. I mean, Anthony Johnson, it could be Anthony, it could be Gustafsson that got the belt in my absence. This fight for me is about legacy. It always has been. I've had big fights with guys like Rampage Jackson, who hated me, who tried to make me look like a fool. Rashad Evans, we fought for the pride of Jackson's MMA and the pride for Albuquerque. Chael Sonnen, UFC 151 was a nightmare. And then he talked so much trash leading up to the Ultimate Fighter. And then DC, I've been in this position so many times, having a kind of an antagonist. And for me, it's always been about chasing greatness. And that's what I'm here for. This DC chapter is going to be over on Saturday, and he's just going to be a part of my legacy. At the end of the day, he will be remembered as one of John Jones' great contenders.
Since you've been gone, John, DC has been, ruling the division. I mean, he has picked up some huge wins. Have you been impressed by DC in his last few fights since your fight with him?
His Alexander Gustafsson fight was awesome. He showed a lot of heart. That was a really great fight. As far as the Anthony Johnson fights, there's a clear path to beat Anthony Johnson. You take him down to the ground and you take him out. I mean, the guy's lost to so many people by rear naked chokes. I can't really say I'm that impressed with those victories.
Damn. I'm still here, by the way.
I don't know, man.
They can hear me.
In my mind, I look at it one way. It's like, in order to go to sleep considering yourself the baddest motherfucker that has lived throughout this era, you got to beat the baddest motherfucker. And I mean, he says, well, I didn't have to beat you. You beat yourself. And every time you say that, he validates what I'm saying. Yeah, you did. You just haven't beat me. You know what I mean? So, am I impressed? You can beat as many people as you want, but until you beat the guy, then you're not the guy.
And one question for Daniel Cormier, DC.
Is this a Damon Martin exclusive interview or what?
At the end of the day, he is, arguably the greatest of all time. Do you feel like you're going to get that same John Jones you fought before when you fought him in 2015, or do you feel like you're going to get the John Jones maybe you saw against Ovin St. Preux, or even maybe a different version than that? What do you expect out of John Jones in this fight?
I expect him to be as good as he's ever been. A lot of people talk about the Ovin St. Preux fight as if it was some horrible fight, but as I've watched it in my preparation, it wasn't as bad a fight as people
There's that shirt.
make it out to be.
Famous shirt.
He should be proud of the way he performed on that night, because that was the best of his ability. He fought as well as he possibly could against Ovin St. Preux. But it wasn't a bad fight. He did a good job. So I expect him to be as good as he was against Ovin St. Preux, because that's as good as he can be. That's who he is. That's his best version of himself.
Thanks, DC. Appreciate it.
Thank you again, *1 for questions. We'll take
Did you
our
see
next
that
question
Instagram picture
from
of
Dan Wetzel?
DC wearing that shirt there and then on Saturday? New York, Rick?
I wanted to ask each of you, maybe
Dan Wetzel,
start with
legend.
Daniel, and then go to John.
Yahoo Sports.
Just run through
one of my favorite writers.
emotions as you remember it now of the night in Vegas when the test came back and the UFC 200 fight was off. Both of you guys were very emotional that night. And I just wonder, how do you recall that night, what you went through? And at that moment, did you ever think that we'd be back to this so quickly, basically just a year later?
You know, the moment was tough. It was very difficult because I had worked hard to try and get the only loss back that I have in my career. With that being said, after the initial shock and sadness of the fight getting canceled, I kind of went back to just preparing myself. You know, as a professional, you have to get back on the horse. You know, I was informed very quickly after he was out of the fight that they were going to try to put something together. So I had to go back to trying to cut weight again, with the idea that I may get a fight. And that's exactly what I did.
And John, I know you were very eager to get to this point. What was your thoughts a year ago?
You know, it's a big fight when Wetzel's calling in.
What hurts me the most about UFC 200 was everything that people didn't see that I'd done to get back to that point. I mean, things got really ugly for me. The lawsuits, the probation, the court stuff. It was so ugly. I mean, the hit that I took, my image. I mean, the situation that I put the girl in, it was terrible. It was terrible, and it took me a long time, and it took me a lot of effort to get back to UFC 200. I was so proud to show my fans that you can come back from anything, and then UFC 200 was going to be the way that I officially said, you know what, look at that, guys, I freaking did it. I didn't give up. I came back bigger and stronger with USADA being a part of the program. Bigger and stronger than ever. I started, you know, and then the UFC 200 situation happened, and I tainted my legacy because of an estrogen blocker, and the beautiful thing about you know, the beautiful thing about USADA is, you know, they're the #1 drug testing agency in the world.
That's right. Yeah.
And they have brilliant people that works for that company, and they were able to prove that I was guilty of being negligent. I took a supplement that was supposed to be a sexual enhancement pill, and it ultimately had 7 ingredients in it when there was only advertised to have 5 ingredients in it. And this is all public documented. I had USADA themselves say that John Jones, in fact, is not a drug cheat, a steroid cheat, but he had an estrogen blocker in him. So, you know, to have the world try to delegitimize 10 years of being undefeated because of a sex pill, it really hurt. It really hurt.
What's happening?
But you know what? It's beautiful because USADA is still here, and I'm excited to have this fight coming up on Saturday, and to give my opponent absolutely no way out of saying this is why I lost.
Best fight in UFC.
Right now, the storyline is, well, John Jones beat me. Rampage Jackson became the youngest champion ever, became a guy who made it to the UFC after only training for, I think,
Rampage
7 months. To delegitimize all that by trying to accuse me of being a steroid user, it's almost hysterical.
Oh.
But I'm so excited because of Saturday, USADA is still fully intact.
Yes.
And I'm going to do exactly what I did last time, but I feel like it's going to be in a better fashion. And there will be no excuse for me winning, but my hard work, my heart, my faith, and my belief. And so I'm just excited. I'm just excited to be in this position here. I get to put a lot of the critics to rest. Or like, oh, well, he did it again. Definitely wasn't steroids this time. So I'm just interested to hear what people have to say after Saturday.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Best fight on paper in UFC history. #1 versus #2. They need to start promoting it that way this week. You want to get those million buys?
AJ Perez with USA Today Sports.
Oh, wow. All the big dogs are here.
Yeah, this is, thanks for your time. This is for VC, and a lot's been made of, the first meeting with John Jones. It was during UFC 121, I think. Actually,
They should do 2 press conferences on Wednesday. One just for DC and Jones, and then one for the rest. No one's going to ask the other guys questions.
Meeting, to you, DC.
Do you want to start now, or do you want to? Just even in the first interaction, that I know on a number of occasions he said that it was kind of to strike up a new friendship. But for me, it was mostly just that in the very first instance, it was something that was I'm better than you, or it was competitive immediately. And for me, that was the basis that was formed from the moment that we ever came into contact. And I'm okay with it. I'm actually okay with it being competition from the first start. Because if this would have started as something different and then turned into this, then, maybe that could be like me having to maybe I would have to look within myself. But the fact that from the moment, even if it was in jest, it was something competitive. And that was what formed the foundation for him and I's relationship.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it.
New York Rick.
And Dinky, once again, if you'd like to ask a question,
I am here.
Press star 1.
Million buys?
Speaking next to Greg Moore
Easy.
with AZ.
What's the line? Easy.
Let me set the line. You tell me over under.
Arizona Cardinals
Okay.
training camp.
No, let me set the line.
Fine, go.
700.
About your training.
What? Over. Easy. That's what you give me
Even.
to work with?
I say even.
I'm super, super proud of him.
This sells 700?
Yeah.
In Arizona, I mean,
This is the best card of the
I'm trying to
year.
listen. Can you
amazing
just-
life. I mean, to be
700.
young and to have just signed an $83 million contract and be single.
Oh.
I think that guy lives in like a $4.2 million house.
Oh.
He is the modern day Bruce Wayne, and I'm so proud of him.
He's talking about his brother, Chandler.
As far as the training, man, I was glad to have him down here. I mean, he only stayed for 1 week, but I feel like he changed spiritually in that 1 week. I mean, physically, there's not much you can do in 1 week, but the things that he got to see, I mean, to watch his older brother train 4 times a day, and just live the train between what I eat and just my recovery and just to get right back to the gym. I think it inspired him, and I think it's going to translate in the football field. I don't think there's anything the Cardinals could do to him on that field that would be tougher than what he witnessed me do here at high altitude in Albuquerque. So yeah, I had a great training camp, though. To answer your question, right now I weigh about 217. I'm fully hydrated. I've been eating meals all day, and I feel amazing, man. I feel like I'm at age 30, which should be my prime, and no injuries, and super confident. I beat this guy before. We've made some major adjustments, and I'm excited to see what I'm capable of in my very first rematch against a guy that I've already beat. It was like the first time I fought Daniel, it was like, well, he's undefeated, man. Maybe he has it. Maybe he has that it factor. Some people have that it factor, like Floyd Mayweather or Cale Sanderson or just people who can actually go undefeated. And now that I found out that he doesn't have it, I'm excited to freaking be the GOAT and freaking not only beat this guy, but to finish him this time. And this is what my camp has expected out of me. Is finishing people and to provide an output that I don't believe he can handle. So we're excited. We're really excited about this.
Thanks, John.
By the way, in case you're wondering.
John, you know you ain't finishing nobody. When was the last time you finished anybody? Now you're going to come back after all this time away and finish me? You've lost your mind. You're not finishing anything.
We'll take our next question.
No response.
Steven.
Come on.
Morocco with MMAJunkie.com.
It was just getting good.
Well, I just kind of wanted to follow up on that, Daniel. Kind of wanted to just ask you how John is coming across to you in this call, talking about doing the right things, forgiving himself, saying it could be anybody in the cage. How's he coming off to you?
I don't know, because I don't really care. I don't care if he's made changes in his life. I could give two shits if he goes to if he goes to church every day and he's reading his Bible and he's doing everything perfectly right. I don't care. I don't care if he's out every single night partying. I could give two shits. All I care about is him getting to the octagon on Saturday. He talks about confidence. He talks about finishing. He talks about working hard and all these other things. These are things that champions just do. These are the attributes of a champion in general. It's not about what you do afterwards. These are things that you should always do, and these are the things that I have always done that I'm always going to continue to do. So yeah, he's confident, but I'm over here confident too, and I don't have to tell you. I'm just going to show you on Saturday night. The one thing that I do take, Stephen, is that John hasn't done this for a while because he's a little bit long-winded.
Okay. And John, what was going on with you during that Fox interview this past Saturday when you tore off the headset and you walked out of the shot? Was that just the way it played out in the moment, or was it something else?
It was. You mean me walking off at the end of the interview?
Yeah.
I felt like the interview was over.
Okay, it seemed like you kind of stormed off. It didn't seem like a natural exit. So I just wanted to clarify.
I had my blue belt ceremony to get to too. I was like, I was late for that, and I felt like the interview was over, and I just wanted to be on time and not miss that ceremony.
I gotcha. You mentioned earlier that you've always had an antagonist.
It made for a cool effect.
Is Daniel Cormier?
Although I don't love the new facial hair, just like the patch over here. What's up with that? This is way better. Or the beard.
Say outside of the octagon, yes, because of all the back and forth and all the verbal. But inside of the octagon, it would have to be Alexander Gustafsson. I mean, he came the closest to actually put me in a spot where I felt like, shit, I'm digging deep right now. Like, I am possibly, I could be losing this. With Daniel Cormier, with Rashad Evans, with anybody else that I beat by unanimous decision, I never felt like, there was never a moment where, like I felt like I was in danger or I had to even dig deeper, like pull out my reserve. I was coasting. I mean, at one point in the first fight, I smiled and looked up at the camera. I was like, this is great. It was fun. It was high pace. He pushed forward and moved forward. But I mean, at no point did I get rocked or wobbled or hurt or he made me bleed or anything. I had my whereabouts at the end of the fight. I remember putting my hands up and he thought the fight was over and he quit like he normally does. And then I slapped him 2 more times and gave him the DX suck it sign. It was a fun fight. And this fight's going to be even more fun. He's 2 years older.
He acknowledges it.
Easy.
DX suck it sign.
At this point, I'm really, really not interested in arguing and fighting with this guy anymore. I'm not interested in the back and forth. I'm not interested in all that stuff anymore. My goal is to get into the octagon on Saturday. If all the things that he is saying right now is true, then great. If you feel as though he never had any danger in the first fight, then great. If he feels that my age will be the determining factor in this fight, then great. These are all things that I can look forward to proving him wrong on Saturday. Guy has no idea what he's in for. But I'm just going to sit back here, let him talk, do his job of selling the fight, and I'll go collect my check and defend my belt on Saturday.
I'm glad that he has no intention on arguing because I'm not arguing with him at all. I'm answering you guys' question. I'm also glad that he's in this for his check.
In a very long-winded fashion and trying to say stuff like that he knows isn't true.
Oh, I'm passionate, man. I'm so excited, man. I'm not a commentator. I don't talk for a living, so I talk with my heart. I'm excited about this, man.
You don't think I am? Do you actually think I'm not excited? Hey, John, listen, I can do it too.
Hey, how about we not address each other and answer these questions?
I could do it too, John. I'm excited about this, man. I can do the same shit.
Cool. Well, how about we not address each other and just answer these people's questions? Can we do that? Can we be professional?
Then yes, we can be very professional.
This is not the time for that. You're trying to sell pay-per-views.
If I could, one last question for John. I just had to read a quote that I read in this great story in Bleacher Report, this profile that you did.
Oh.
Said I went back to the car to try and find my marijuana pipe. It was in the cup holder, but it flew out. Now I keep it in the middle console. Is that you trolling or is that real?
That's me trolling. Next question.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks, guys.
Why'd you give him the out there?
To Dave Deeper with Post Media Network. Go ahead, please.
Hi, guys. Thanks for the time. Just a bit of a follow-up with the talk about rematches. How much time have each of you, John and Daniel, spent watching the tape from your first fight? Daniel, maybe first.
Oh, I've watched the fight. But again, you know, I feel like we're different fighters today than we were then. You know, I'm not gonna gauge my performance this weekend on what happened in January of 2015. So I've watched the fight. Obviously, we've competed against each other before, but as the guy that lost the gauge what I'm going to do on Saturday night based on what happened 2.5 years ago.
Okay, John.
I watched the first fight a lot. I do, and my team here at Jackson's MMA, we are notorious for studying film. And so the beautiful thing about this rematch is, you know, I've been able to somehow never lose because of what I find in footage. And now I have a blueprint of myself against someone that I've beat before. And this blueprint is gigantic because it's my first rematch. I'm super excited about my first rematch. I'm a huge fan of the sport. It's the reason why I didn't fight Chael Sonnen at UFC 151. I don't like fighting without studying first. And to have a blueprint of how to beat Daniel Cormier, of myself beating him, it's gigantic. So we study that fight all the time. We know what he wants. We know a lot of things that he likes to do. And the thing that's most beautiful about being out of the equation for so long is that I've been able to watch him continue to fight over the last 2 years. And me and my team, we've seen very, very small changes. Very small changes. If almost safe to say no changes. And in my situation against OSP, because I was a little gun shy, I showed almost nothing. I literally did side kicks to the legs the whole time. I threw maybe 3 punches the whole fight, took him down against the cage. Yeah, I've been doing that my whole career, and it's something I'm really good at. But I've showed Daniel nothing. He has no clue of the progression. He has no clue what I've changed in my boxing. He doesn't know what I've changed in my clinching. He doesn't know what I've changed in my jiu-jitsu. He has nothing. I've watched him on the ground against Anderson Silva. We know what his top game looks like. I watched him take Anthony Johnson's back. We know what his back control looks like. We know what he's capable of. We have a huge blueprint on him where he really has no clue what I've done differently over the last 2 years.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
All right, let's do one more.
One, if you'd like to ask a question. We go next to Mark Raimondi with MMAfighting.com.
Perfect. Floor is yours, Mark.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the time today.
You're welcome.
The question is for Cyborg. Cyborg, are you
Cyborg.
He's
first...
on the line.
What?
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'll... Oh, she's there. Hey, Chris. I had a question about the weight, about
this is great.
Your weight cut. Where are you right now? And I know that the CSAC has been monitoring you guys more than other commissions have leading up into this fight. Are you happy with where you are now? Are things going okay with your weight cut?
I'm really happy. I'm training. It's still my last fight, and I keep training. I think my cut for 140 hours helped me for really getting low my weight. And I feel very great. I'm feeling great, and it'll be amazing cut. And I feel great. Just did it today. We're close to the weight, and you have it still 5 days. 4 days.
Thanks, Chris. And just for John, I think you tweeted a few days ago, John, that you got a call from Anderson Silva. I'm just curious, what Anderson said, and then what it meant to you.
Me and Anderson, we talked on the phone for a while, and you know, I really don't want to get too much into what we spoke about, just out of my respect for him. But when it comes to the fight, basically he just told me to know what I'm capable of. He just said, basically in a roundabout way, he just said, know what you're capable of. And you know, he said it was almost surprising to feel the level of fear I felt from Daniel. He said to me, I'm an old man now, and Daniel had to take me down round after round because I felt fear coming off of him. This man has fear in his heart. He said, know what you're capable of. Go out there and you take this from him. In a roundabout way, that's what he said.
Keep it going. I want to see if he responds.
And just getting the call from him, did that mean a lot to you?
Well, absolutely. And Anderson still is my idol.
Fear.
And you know, he's been the guy that I've respected the most since I was 19 years old and I got into the sport. And to hear him have that level of faith in me and to pretty much tell me that, you know, it's already done. Now I just got to go out there and do what I'm capable of. It felt great. It felt great coming from him.
Thanks, John.
I tell you what, one thing about me and Anderson, man, is that my takedown defense is solid, dude. There's no taking me down if things don't go your way.
Oh.
And there's definitely no laying on me in half control and half guard the whole time, the way that happened. But anyways.
Anderson
Thanks, John. DC, can you respond to
there you go, Mark.
John is saying Anderson said in that phone call?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, it's good that they're friends. I mean, it's good that they're friends. It's good that Anderson called him with advice. But, you know, that would almost be like me having Glover Teixeira calling me to tell me how to beat John Jones.
Oh.
He lost. It's much easier to give advice to someone about someone you lost to. You don't want to see me win. I beat him. He doesn't want to see me win. So go get John to do the job that he couldn't do. So it doesn't bother me. I could really care less if everybody calls him and tells him how he should beat me or what they felt when they were in the octagon with me. If a guy's going to just fall down in the middle of the octagon and let me get on top of him, I will gladly take that.
Fair enough. And just last thing for me, the promos for this fight have gotten a lot of critical acclaim. I was just curious about how you guys felt about him. You know, John and DC, starting with you, John. Were you okay with how you know, the promos came out and how they portrayed you and that whole thing?
You know, well, the first time I watched it, I was uncomfortable with
Great
it
question.
because I mean, it showed me talking in 2011 and saying how I would never want to do something that would harm the image of the sport, and that was genuine, man. I mean, I never intended on having an image of being the bad guy. I really didn't. And somewhere along the way, I got lost, man, and I got caught up in my own shit, man. I started having fun and partying and still winning, and I just took it all for granted. I mean, genuinely, I really wanted to be an inspiration to other people and to inspire people and just to be a role model. I mean, that was my original thought, and somewhere along the line, I just stopped caring. And I started, you know, living for myself, and the promo was honest. I mean, shit, the proof is in the timeline. It was all right there, and I curated that. And but the beautiful thing about the promo, I felt was my life and my mistakes are just so out there. I don't need DC to try to convince everyone that I'm this terrible human being. People can judge me for how they want to see me. It's already out there. It's all out there in the public. And that's a freeing feeling to be looked at as a piece of shit by so many people. And to be able to just be real with yourself and to take responsibility for the things you've done wrong and just I don't know, I feel so free, man. It's a great feeling to be who I am. Even John Jones, the fuck up John Jones, the great, however you look at me, it's just great to be me, alive, whether you like me or hate me. It's just a great feeling to be relevant. And I'm excited, man, because at the end of the day, when you get to a certain low, the only place you can go is up. And I'm excited to be 30 years old and to have a good team of people around me right now, and to go up. I mean, I think my story is going to really inspire somebody else who has fucked up. It's going to really inspire somebody else to realize that it is not over. Man, if John Jones would come back from the shit that he's been through and ultimately win and be the champion that he's always been capable of being, man, I think it's going to inspire other people. And I'm glad that I'm used. My life can be used as a laughingstock or whatever it may be to ultimately inspire. If it's just one person that continues to fight because of my life, dude, I'm glad to be in this position. So yeah, to answer your question, the promo was honest, and I'm just excited to finish the story. The story's not over. We're not our past. We're not our mistakes. We're what we do with it. And like I said, my hit run was 2 years ago, and I've done a lot of right things since then, and I'm going to continue until people can start to see that I'm here to stay, and I'm here to win and be a dominant champion and try to do things better in the future.
Thanks, John. And just for Daniel, kind of same question. What do you think of the promo?
I just want to hear this.
Do you think it was
Sorry.
too focused on John? How did you feel about it overall?
It's a great question. That was the best answer of the whole call.
No, I thought they did a fantastic job. You watch some of these other fights and they don't get that type of detail in the promotion. I thought it was the story as it needed to be told. I think the greatest hook for people is the story of redemption. And if we want people watching the story of redemption, then that was the story that needed to be told. The beauty in this situation is that I get to be the person that doesn't allow for the ultimate redemption. There is redemption in this story. There are things that he has said that is very true. When you have to scrape yourself off the ground and when you're at your lowest point, you look up to a future that can actually mean something. But the redemption is the fact that he gets to go back and compete. The redemption isn't a championship anymore.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
That's good.
The reality is that he gets another opportunity to be a good citizen, to be a good competitor, and just a good human being in general. You take from that, you learn from all those mistakes, and do that. But the story of redemption is not getting his hand raised in the octagon this weekend. Maybe later, but not right now.
I mean, listen to who that's coming from. Of course, that wouldn't be the story of redemption in your mind.
You're, and again, could we please just answer these people's questions? I'm very quiet when he's talking, but to answer his question now, redemption is getting to do the things that he's getting to do this weekend. Everybody doesn't need the ultimate redemption, but he will get redemption by getting to compete again.
Oh, now it's the ultimate, and then there's regular redemption. Okay, I get it.
But I said the fact that you've actually picked yourself up, if it was that low and gotten yourself back to this point, great on you. But that's his redemption.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right. Let's say goodbye to that. That was fun. Way to go, Mark. Ending on a strong note. That was the best exchange of the entire call. It was good. Whet the appetite for what's to come. I'm going there Wednesday morning. There's going to be a press conference Wednesday afternoon in LA. Then it's media day on Thursday, and then it's weigh-ins, and then it's the fight, and it's finally here. I'm so excited. Let's bring in New York Rick, answer some questions.
Hello.
Scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for UFC 214?
12.
12, yeah.
But that nothing to do with that conference call, nothing to do with the promo.
But it kind of makes it feel a little more real,
Personally, me, I was all in on this forever, and I've said that before. Like, anytime they've announced it and it didn't happen, I was just like, okay, let's rebook it, and I'm ready for more.
Yeah, you just can't wait. I mean,
I cannot lose excitement for the two best light heavyweights possibly ever fighting. I don't lose the interest in that. And then you factor in that the rest of 214 is bonkers, and excitement levels are very high.
So let's answer some questions. What do we got? Who do we
First
got?
question.
Oh.
You wanted to dive into this a little bit. thoughts on Conor's next level trolling of Floyd's domestic violence past with the obscure C.J. Watson jersey reference. Before you go into that, let me ask this.
Yes.
Was he even trolling in terms of domestic violence, or was it something else? Because I don't think the two are necessarily
That's a very good question.
hand in hand. I think the domestic violence portion of this is separate from C.J. Watson and Floyd Mayweather.
I don't think he was making light of domestic violence or making light of Floyd's relationship with a woman. I think he was shining a light on Floyd's past and trying to expose him. And most importantly, I think he was trying to get under his skin. And what I thought, okay, so this is the story for those that missed it. Conor McGregor, when it comes to his career, when it comes to his opponents, when it comes to his preparation, he is the ultimate student. And you could say that's me kissing his ass. It's not. It's true. You could talk to him about anyone in the lightweight division, in the featherweight division. He will rifle off stats, factoids, nuggets, all kinds of things about his opponents. People who aren't even in his line of sight, on his radar. Just he knows everything. He just consumes all things MMA. And in this case, of course, it involves boxing, but Floyd was on his radar for quite some time. And so I'm a huge NBA fan. Huge. I've talked about this. Obviously a huge combat sports fan. I knew that Floyd went to jail for domestic violence. I had no idea that C.J. Watson was even a part of this story. And I know who C.J. Watson is. Warriors, Magic, Chicago Bulls, all that stuff. Backup point guard. I know who he is. I had no idea. This is a pretty obscure reference. Yet Conor has been talking about it since January. You showed the tweet earlier when you were doing Rick's Picks. And so that shows how much time he has spent studying Floyd Mayweather. And that shows the kind of mindset he has in terms of getting under his opponent's skin. That shows the kind of psychology that he tries to bring into his fights to try to get his opponent off his game, get him upset, get him annoyed, all those things. And so to me, what was so interesting about this was you can't go to a store and buy a CJ Watson jersey. You certainly can't buy one from the period in which this incident happened around 6-7 years ago when he was playing for the Warriors. You can't go to the NBA store and buy a Warriors jersey and put Watson's name on the back, you know, the typical custom jersey thing, because that was the old Warriors jersey. They don't have those in stock. Trust me, I went on eBay, I went on Google. It's not that easy. From what I understand, it took them 6 months to get this done. And so the whole point of this is not that he is shining, he's trying to, make light of domestic violence. He's trying to go to the greatest lengths possible to just piss off Floyd Mayweather. And what kind of confuses me is people are saying, oh, these guys only care about the money. There's no real beef here. This is a money grab. This is not a real fight. This is the lowest of the low. This is fake in one breath. And then in the next breath, they're like, oh, no. There's a line here. You can't get that. No. If you show any kind of emotion, if you show any kind of friction, no. There's a line here. I cannot be a part of this. If you are offended by the spectacle of combat sports, it's probably best to not watch. And yes, there is a line. There's always a line. As I said last week, there is always a line. This was not the line. And I just couldn't believe that people were saying like, oh, you're better than this, Ariel. Better than what? Conor McGregor went to great lengths to have a CJ Watson jersey made from the 2010 era just to piss off Floyd Mayweather. And guess what? He didn't even post it himself. He didn't even make a big deal about it. I don't even know where that screen grab came from. Where did it come from? Did you see it anywhere? Like, where did Draymond Green find this?
That's a good question. I don't know where the original source was.
I looked at All Access. I looked a bunch of places. I could not find it. And then Draymond Green thinks it's him, thinks it's a jersey of his because he's number 23 and is like, yo, we're not rolling with you. Take that jersey off. And he's like, no, mate, this is not you. This is CJ Watson. Go look up why I'm wearing this jersey. He's shining a light on the affair. And I'm here I am talking for him. But to think that here's Conor making light of domestic violence, I just didn't take it that way. I really didn't. But nowhere did you see me say, oh, this is hilarious, or this is brilliant, or this is a great thing. No, this is just what it is. This is Conor going to great lengths, unlike any other fighter that we've seen in our lifetime, to try to do whatever possible to get under his opponent's skin. That is, if nothing else, noteworthy, newsworthy. And then he's bringing in Draymond. I mean, like this, he's responding to him. That to you is not interesting? Why are we so quick to draw these lines and like the social commentary? No, look, something happened. He did not comment on that, not once in the whole tour. Why do you think now he's walking around with the jersey? Because he's trying to say, hey man, your girl left you for another guy. That's the way I took it. Am I off here? Do you disagree?
I don't disagree.
Do you think he crossed the line?
I don't.
I was seeing these tweets.
I think the reference was clearly to CJ Watson and Mayweather. Nothing, in my opinion, there's a separation here between the woman involved and,
Well, the woman involved is a part of the story because she dated apparently or allegedly CJ Watson. But I don't think Conor is...
He's not referring to her. He's not talking about her. He's not talking about a domestic incident. He's talking about CJ Watson, who has a relationship with Floyd Mayweather due to those circumstances, but it's a separate thing. Because this is about Floyd and Watson, not the female involved.
This is a bro thing. Hey, bro, your girl left you for another guy. That's the way I'm taking it. And he's showing that I know a lot about you, and I'm going to go on or try to get under your skin. But
sure.
I mean, look, to me, if he was willing to go to the DV level, he probably would have said it on the tour.
Sure,
and I'm happy he did not do that. Because
that's
she
my
has
thought.
nothing to do with this. She is the victim. I mean, she has suffered enough. I am very happy he didn't do that. But to walk around wearing the jersey of the guy, that to me is just him trying to get under his skin. And so I don't like, people say like, this is the lowest he's gone. Quite frankly, what does that say about the comments in Brooklyn? You think this is the lowest he's gone?
There is a line that he could cross. Thus far, in my opinion, he hasn't yet. But there is a line. And going there would definitely cross the line. But at this point, I think we need to really evaluate what's happening here, and wearing a CJ Watson jersey is not that moment. It's not somewhere where he's making light of anything that somebody should be completely outraged about. Now, look, people will find reasons to be outraged about almost anything. In my opinion, this isn't one of them.
I think he is trying to bait Floyd. I think he is trying to get him off his game. I think he is trying to bring up a very, what's the word that we can use? A disgusting part of his past, a repulsive part of his past, the darkest part of his past. I mean, actually, Floyd has other incidents involving domestic violence, not including the particular one involving CJ Watson that led to him going to jail. I think he is trying to say that, look at this guy. And this jersey represents that past. I would be surprised if he starts talking about the victim. I would be surprised if he starts making light of domestic violence. But to me, what is all interesting, and again, I need to say, like, I can't comment on what he said in Brooklyn because I am not black, right? So I can't comment on like if it was offensive or not. That's not for me to say. I'm not a black person. You know what I mean? If someone came out and started saying something about Jews and going into the gas chamber and things like that, yeah, I could talk about that because that's me. I can't comment. It's not right. That I don't like when that happens, and so I can't comment on how the victim feels or how victims of domestic violence may feel about this. What was interesting to me was that he went to these lengths to try to get this jersey, that he even knows about this story, that he knows about CJ Watson's past. Is he walking up to the line? Absolutely. Did he cross the line? I don't think so. And I wasn't offering commentary. I was just saying, look at this guy. This is a whole other level on Conor's part. Like, he talks about things personal when it comes to his opponents. We've seen it with Aldo and Nate Diaz. The guy really does his homework. Just look at the lengths that he wanted to go out there and walk around with a CJ Watson jersey. I mean, if nothing else, that just shows the amount of research he does in his opponents and the level that he will go to try to get under his skin. But I do not feel as though he was trying to make light of a very, very unfortunate situation. Am I explaining this the right way?
I think so, but I think it is a touchy subject. Which
that's what I'm saying. He goes to the line, but I don't think he's crossing it here. And I felt like people were trying to bait me into saying something worse yesterday, and that was not something that I was interested in doing. This is not my domain. I just was saying, look, guys, this is why he's wearing this jersey. This is the story. And let's just like sit back and think about what he had. He couldn't just go to the NBA store and get this. He had to actually, and I saw some people being like, yeah, he could just Google it. Show me. Go find this jersey for me. Go find it. Go find it. Go get it done. Show me the link of you making this jersey, this exact jersey, not the current Warriors jersey, the 2010 Warriors jersey. Show me how easy it is. It's not that easy. You could have all the money in the world. You have to find the right person to make it. I just found that to be fascinating. The mind games involved are fascinating to me. How low they will go, what depths they will try to win. And I said it last week, I don't think Conor won the tour, and I thought he was going to. I thought he was going to smoke him. I don't think he did. That was the big story. Mayweather turning back the clock and being completely unfazed by it all. But if you're going to be outraged about something, let's be outraged about his past. Let's stop making excuses for Floyd. Floyd was the one that called him the F word last week. Floyd was the one that called him a hoe. Let's not pretend like he's some kind of, angel in all of this. I just thought that, to me, this was like bro stuff. Your woman left you for another man, and I'm going to walk around with his jersey because he's an athlete and I can. That's the way I took it.
Yeah. I think there's going to be sensitivities to this, and there's going to be people with differing opinions, clearly. I just think we need to pump the brakes a little bit on condemning this as,
What do we want from these guys? Do we want them to care, or do we not want them to care? Do we want to think that there's friction, or do we not? Like, first we say it's a money grab, and then we say, okay, they're getting too personal. Like, these are two guys. They're not I know we want our athletes to be role models all the time. I know we want them to be, Nobel Peace Prize winners and act with the utmost class. But let's not forget what they do for a living. Conor McGregor fights in a cage for a living, and he punches people. And prior to that, he was a plumber. And Floyd Mayweather has been a prize fighter for his entire life. Like Charles Barkley said it best, and I think that basketball players are held to an even higher standard, and sometimes that's not fair. They are not our role models. And so, to ask these prize fighters to, play by the perfect roles that, or rules, I should say, is sometimes asking a lot. They're not perfect individuals. They aren't. And here's Conor trying to shine a light on his not so perfect past. I just think that's fascinating. I'm not saying it's a nice thing, a funny thing. Oh, this is, let's dab. Is it dab or dap? Dap or dab? What is it?
You're talking about giving them
the pound.
Yeah, that's DAP, but that's something different.
Yeah, I just think it's I think it's fascinating. I think it was worth spotlighting.
Sure, it's completely relevant, and in my opinion, not crossing the line. But there is a line.
There 100% is a line. Are you kidding me? If he starts coming out and talking about the incident and the woman, there's 100% a line.
Yeah, you drag other people into this. Yeah. That are victims, and it's a different story.
No, this is between him and Floyd.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't planning on addressing this in the last, 5 minutes of the show, but I hope I was able to. It's very hard on Twitter when you put something out there and you see all these people coming at you and they're like, you're better than this. I'm like, what? Better than what? I'm not the one who did it. I'm putting it out there, and I went back and read my tweets. I'm like, I'm not applauding him for it. I'm applauding for the lengths in which he went. Yes, that I will admit. I am applauding for the lengths in which he went, but the actual commentary is not what I was talking about. It's just a whole other level of, and again, like I saw some people one more time, people saying like, oh, the fact that he's stooping to this level to sell tickets, do you really think an extra ticket was sold because of that? He didn't even go out of his way to promote it. Do you really think an extra pay-per-view was sold because of that? It's all mind games. It's all part of it. And to me, this is just validation that he cares, that he is actually trying to win this fight. Okay, I think I'm done.
Fight of the night in Long Island. What was your choice for fight of the night?
And can I just say one more thing? I'm sorry. If you are offended by it, that's great. I'm not begrudging you for that. People are allowed to be offended about whatever they want. but I just wanted to make clear about how I felt about it because I was seeing some tweets. I was like, what? Like, no, you can be offended. You feel free to be offended. But I just remind you, like combat sports, the lines are something. Like, look at DC and Jones talking about things that they were talking about. You know what I mean?
This is two people who are going to get into the ring and hit each other. It's not other sports. It's not a competition of teams playing with, equipment and achieving an objective, scoring goals, scoring touchdowns, hitting home runs. They're going to physically harm each other, and getting personal is part of that. It's part of the build-up and the lead-up to almost every single fight. This was a case of Conor McGregor getting deeply personal with Floyd Mayweather. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's more of this in the lead up to the fight. But there's going to be levels of this that make people uncomfortable. Some people may be uncomfortable with much less of a threshold than even this. So I think, we have to be accepting and value that and recognize that. But at the same time, I think that there is an objective line that can be crossed, and at this point, it hasn't.
I heard some people say that he should, donate to a charity.
He should, and we all should. Why not?
Absolutely. But if he does that, isn't that now bringing this involved? Like, by wearing this jersey, should he now have to do that?
Should he be required? No, of course not.
Now he could go out and say, look, I'm a better person than Floyd. I'm so much better that I am
more
so against
gamesmanship.
This. And that would work. But doesn't that bring this into the conversation? Or has he already done that? I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
I do. I don't think he had any noble pursuits here.
No.
But I don't think that it could hurt. It could only do better. And I think we're going to get this. This is going to be the type of discourse that happens. Conor McGregor did the whole thing in Brooklyn with, black from the belly button down. And then when the media got to speak to him after, his thoughts on it seemed much more intelligent, much more enlightened, much more nuanced. And we're going to get times where it's going to be straight to the gut, and it's going to be a little bit below the belt in terms of how personal it gets. And then there's going to be conversation based on that. I just think let's not make this unnecessarily pointed when I think his intention was clear here. He didn't have malicious intent toward any victims or anything like that.
Okay, let's go rapid fire.
Which fight would be your choice for fight of the night from Long Island? There were a lot of great fights on the card.
Honestly,
what would have been yours?
I would have picked the main event. I thought the main event was one of the best fights of the year. I liked it. Maybe one of the best main events of the year. I mean, obviously Gaethje versus Johnson is number one, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, Weidman getting dropped in the first, coming back, the finish, the moment afterwards. I thought the main event, I enjoyed the Shane Burgos fight against Godofredo Pepe. Full disclosure, I didn't see the entire fight that won the award, the Dos Santos against Lyman Good fight, but I was really surprised that the main event didn't get it. Now, those guys are probably making the most money on the card, but I thought that was the best fight on the card.
It was a great fight, but I think it's hard to go wrong. It was a good card, as I predicted, and you poo-pooed, but it was a fantastic card, and there were a lot of great choices for that. Feel-good story. This is a different kind of category.
Oh, my God.
Weidman or Albini?
Well, it's a different kind of feel-good story. I mean, Weidman's feel-good story is about, his own career struggle and getting back on track and the success that he had early on and winning in his hometown. I mean, you cannot have scripted that any better, putting him on the losing streak and then putting him on Long Island in front of his hometown fans and his family and friends and getting all emotional. I mean, it was just fantastic. It really was. Those are moments that you dream about if you're a fighter, if you're a promoter. It was a grand slam. Albini is just, I mean, your heart goes out to the guy, especially as a father, talking about not being able to buy his daughter toys and getting the per diem and going to Walmart and buying her toys. Just, I mean, I wanted to cry. I don't know if I've ever felt that way, and I wanted to hug him. And he just seems like such a nice guy in that video of him getting the bonus. So it's a different kind of feel good. I'd rather not pick one over the other. They're both great. And I hope that Shane Burgos is able to move out of his 700 square foot. There was a point there early on where I was like, oh, this is so depressing. And that's the fight game for you. There's different levels. But I was equally happy for both. And, you don't want to root for anyone. That's not our job, but you are a human being and you feel things. And I certainly felt good for both of them afterwards.
And we saw that video, his reaction, absolutely incredible. Should the UFC bypass Whittaker-Bisping and monetize and capitalize on Bisping versus Romero?
This is my theory as to what is going to happen or what could happen. Bisping, GSP, November. If Bisping loses, you have Robert Whittaker there as your interim champion. He just becomes the official champ, like what happened with Jose Aldo. So I don't think that Romero will get the next title shot. Of course, we found out that David Branch is fighting Luke Rockhold next September 16th. I like that fight a lot. I know a lot of people were crapping on it, but it's a chance for Rockhold to get back on track, get his feet wet, and Branch gets a big step up, sink or swim, now or never. Let's see if you could do it. Main event, UFC. It's unfortunate it's the same night as Triple G Canelo because I don't think a lot of people will be paying attention to it. I think they should have stayed away from that date, but I like that fight. Romero's kind of in this weird no man's land. I know they were kind of going back and forth, and that was discussed. Rockhold thinks that he didn't want to take a 5-round fight. Romero thinks that he didn't want to fight him. Who knows what's going to happen? I would love to see Romero versus Bisping. I'd love to see Weidman versus Bisping. They've been doing, this back and forth thing for years, but I have a feeling, given the way things are going and them needing to make some money in 2017 just wasn't a good year thus far, hasn't been a good year. I have a feeling they're going to try to do the GSP Bisping fight. That's just my hunch. That's completely uneducated. I just feel like they're going to try to go for the biggest fight possible. And then if GSP wins, you already have a guy who's, the interim champ.
I think this was a bit of, this next question was a bit of what you just addressed, how to solve that mess at middleweight.
It's not much of a mess, to be honest. I mean, it really all depends on if they are going to book GSP. If they don't book GSP, now you have Whittaker Bisping and it starts to figure itself out. But I still think that they're trying to book,
Where does Romero go then? Then he's left out in the cold.
They could find something for Romero.
Nobody better than Bisping.
That's true.
Thoughts on Rockhold versus Branch?
Yeah.
This was
I just said I like it. I like it. I like it for Rockhold. He gets back on track, and I like it for Branch because it's a big opportunity, the biggest of his career. Again, only thing I don't like is the date.
People's main event for this upcoming card?
It's got to be Jones DC. It's got to be
the rare main event, people's main event.
Yes, it's got to be Jones DC. I mean, this is again the best fight on paper in UFC history. It doesn't happen often. 1 versus 2, pound for pound. And if you want to argue about, okay, one guy is 3, great. That doesn't happen often either. 1 versus 3, 2 versus 3, 3 versus 4, whatever you want to say. It doesn't happen. And the rivalry and how the first fight went and the story and the redemption, this is just phenomenal stuff. And so the next couple of days are going to be very interesting. What kind of buzz? How's the buildup? It's summertime, not a lot of competition. I'm very curious to see how it goes. I still don't know if it will break 1 million. I still feel like pay-per-view is kind of down right now. People,
you gave me 700.
Yeah,
I said over. What do you think?
I think it's going to do. As of right now, this is not talking about if there's like a brawl on Wednesday or something. As of right now, I'm going for 700. Did you see what?
Oh, that's right. You said even. You pushed. Yeah. That's right. Okay. The first one what did it do? 800 something?
I think it may have done close to 900.
Yeah, I don't think you can go that low for this one with that heat, that rest of the card. I can't.
It's just pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is
down as a whole.
And
I agree.
Mayweather McGregor is coming up in a month.
I said I agree, as if it's a subjective thing. No, clearly pay-per-view is down, but I think if you're a fan, this was the one you were looking for.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, as I suspected, the strength of 214 would hurt 213 because asking people to buy 2 pay-per-views in 1 month is asking a lot. And so a lot of people obviously skipped 213. You saw those numbers last week. So, maybe that means a good number for 214.
Okay. Cormier beats Jones. Do they run it back? Do they do the trilogy fight?
At some point.
Immediately?
Oh, I don't know about immediately, but at some point, yes. I mean, you have to remember, next in line, and by the way, according to Dave Meltzer, the first fight did 800.
Yeah. So could it be possible that now with the true heat and the storyline that does less? I'm thinking not, but I mean, you're right. The pay-per-views as a whole are down. I just think that This one's a bit of an outlier. If you were targeting one on the calendar, this was the one.
What was the question that you just asked?
Immediately, do you do the rematch again right away?
He has the history with Gustafsson, though. Manoa has been talking a lot, and you got Ozdemir there.
He has a fight to get through before he's in that conversation.
If Cormier wins and it's impressive, then I think the biggest money fight. Again, I still think we're in the mode of trying to make the biggest money fights, and I think the biggest money fight is the third fight. So yes, I do think they go right back to that well. It's not like they've been fighting, every couple months here. Last fight was 2.5 years ago.
Jones wins. I think we outlined last week that I'm interested in seeing Gustafsson again.
Yeah.
Jones on the conference call said Gustafsson was his toughest test in the cage. Yeah. I think there were outside factors in that as well, but he cited that, said Cormier wasn't the guy. Do you think he fights again at light heavyweight, or does he go up to face a heavyweight? There's been talks and whispers about this.
No, I don't think he does that based on my conversations just yet. Stipe has some contract issues. I reported on this last week. He is not budging until those are addressed. But that has nothing to do with John Jones. I think John has some options now at 205. Let's just say he beats DC. There's the Gustafsson rematch. There's a fight against Manoa or Ozdemir. And so those, that will take, at least 8 to 10 months, right? Those two guys. And I still am not ready to say goodbye to Rumble Johnson if Jones wins.
Which is more likely to happen? Tanya Evinger beats Cyborg, or all 5 fights on the main card are intact for UFC 214?
What do I feel? I'll go with the latter. Tough spot for Evinger. Debut.
We know
weight
this.
Class above.
She will be game.
She'll be game, but man.
So for anybody facing Cyborg is a tough task.
In your debut, under those lights, on this kind of stage with this many people watching, it's asking a lot.
I'm knocking on the wood. I'm knocking on all the wood. I say we're getting to 214 intact, and we're going to have a great fight.
Yeah. I feel it.
Okay, last thing. Okay. We're going to end with 2 things. Okay. 2 shout-outs.
Oh.
1, here. Devin Sawa, friend of the show, throwing a spinning elbow here. We've talked about this a little bit. He was teasing a TV show that was coming out. Guess what? That TV show comes out today on ABC, somewhere between catch it, check your local listings later today.
Later tonight.
There's going to be later tonight there's
What's
going to be somewhere between.
That's the name?
Yep.
Okay.
And there's going to be some he gave me the heads up. First episode's not going to have these, little fight sequences. If you recall, we also had a photo of him doing the twister. That stuff's coming in episode 3 when he gets his hands dirty.
Love it.
But check it out later tonight, somewhere between on ABC. And then a final shout out.
Good luck to him. Oh, yes.
To our boy Lewis of Unbox Therapy.
Love this guy.
He is the man. I picked this clip in particular because it's about bone conduction headphones that are glasses. Basically how it works is it messes with your ear, the bones in your ear and your ear canal, and allows you to hear audio without playing through a speaker. But point being, we get a shout out in this video, and we've gotten multiple shout outs from Lou and the team at Unbox Therapy.
He mentioned us on this one?
He mentioned us on this one.
Oh, wow. What did he say?
He played a clip. I forget. I think it was me. And it was earlier this month.
Giving you the love?
I wish, he has good taste.
Damn.
If you watch the channel. Interesting side note, our own Guilherme Cruz of MMA Fighting has purchased many items just by watching
Get out of here.
channel.
That's hilarious. This guy's the man. His views for his videos are off the charts. Holy smokes.
And I've been holding on to this shout out. Reason being, we got some swag from Unbox, and it's about damn time.
Did I get any?
They're putting out some clothing. Oh, no. You got some, too. It was sitting on your desk when you came in. Now, you wouldn't have seen it because you came in
late.
At a tardy hour.
I don't want to talk about that. I screwed up.
If we cut to the camera back here, we've got...
Oh, look at this.
We've got some
swag. Oh, that's
awesome.
Wow, that's nice.
The team at Unbox.
Thank you very much.
Always appreciate their support, trying to show some love back to Lewis and the team at Unbox.
A great Canadian. Killing it. Doing big things.
One of the few great Canadians.
That's true. That is true. How dare you? How dare you? Thank you very much, Lewis. We love you, and you're doing great. It's very inspiring to see what he's doing.
Yeah, that channel is bonkers.
And his stuff is very well edited. It's crisp. It's nice. I love it.
That's it. Shoutouts, done. Questions, done. Conference call, done. What else did we
Breaking
broke news on this show?
Done.
We had 2 in-studio guests.
Done.
What didn't we do on this show?
What didn't we do, for God's sakes? Now all that is left, go to Anaheim, cover 214, come right back here in this chair.
Who cares about
in
that?
7 days and recap it all. Thank you very much to you, Mr. New York Rick. You can hit my music. I think we are out of time. Everyone back there is probably hating me for going a little long here, but I just love talking to all of you so much. I feel empty when I leave this place. The long commute home. A couple other things of note. UFC 215, 2 title fights, and I love it. Demetrius Johnson, Ray Borg, Amanda Nunes, Valentina Shevchenko. I can't wait to see the promotion for this one. This is going to be great. It's rich. I mean, you can't script that. That's just brilliant. After what happened over the last couple months, so much fun. That's in Edmonton, by the way, on September 9th. Shout out to Chris Wade. Great victory on Saturday over Frankie Perez. Biggest New York sports fan I know. The guy's just tweeting all day about New York sports, Knicks stuff. Didn't even get a chance to talk to New York Rick about Kyrie Irving eventually leaving the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I have reserved a spot on the Knicks bandwagon for Mr. New York Rick when he wants to come over and join the team once New Jersey's own Kyrie Irving comes home and joins the squad. How sweet it will be. Lobbing alley-oops to KP.
Are you trolling me right now?
Oh, it's going to be so great. It's going to be so great. When I saw that on, what was it, Friday afternoon? So great. Kyrie Irving coming home. All right, I'm off to Anaheim for 214. I appreciate everyone stopping by. Appreciate everyone tuning in. All the guests, all the questions, all the viewers, all the love. Thanks to everyone in the back. Back next week, same time and place until they say peace. Samaria.